Hi, everybody. Today in this session, I want to talk about Shakespeare's poem, Fear No More, the Heat of the Sun. It's also known as Fidel in some anthologies, and this is a kind of a dirge written by William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare, as you know, is one of the greatest poets of English. He is known for his plays and poems. Shakespeare is called the greatest dramatist of all times because he wrote equal number of great comedies like As You Like It, Midsummer Night's Dream, Much Ado About Nothing, Winter's Tale. At the same time, great tragedies, which we consider them as character tragedies, like Hamlet, Macbeth, King Lear, Othello. Besides, he wrote 154 sonnets. As a poet, he's very, very important for us. He followed Surrey's model of sonnet by writing 3 quatrains and a couplet. He made sonnet very popular during the last decade of 16th century. And Shakespeare wrote his sonnets addressing his friend W.H. and his beloved Dark Lady. Shakespeare also wrote number of lyrics which are a part and parcel of his poems, part and parcel of his plays. In that way, many of his plays like Twelfth Night, As You Like It, in As You Like It, we come across the lines like all the word is a stage, sweets are the uses of adversity. Similarly, in Merchant of Venice, we have wonderful dialogue related to mercy. And now this poem, Fear No More, the Heat of the Sun, is an extract from his play Cymbeline. And this poem, Fear No More, the Heat of the Sun, is much discussed poem of Shakespeare. In fact, it's a poem which is highly philosophic also. We find his philosophic words in Macbeth when he says, blow, blow, bright candle, life is a tale told by an idiot. Similarly, in many of his plays, he has come out with wonderful statements about life. And here in this poem, Shakespeare speaks about death. Death has been one of the important aspects of discussion, as love is the main theme of Elizabethan poetry. Death is also discussed by some poets, including Shakespeare, Shirley, John Donne. John Donne writes, Death be not proud. Shirley wrote, The Leveller. Similarly, if you read this poem, we come to know that we need to accept death as we accept birth happily. So, in this poem, Shakespeare writes about one should not fear death. One should not fear death. I read out this poem and let's discuss some important lines of the poem after reading, or what we can recite some lines, and in reciting itself, we may get some meaning. And later we talk about the themes of this poem. Fear No More, the Heat of the Sun by William Shakespeare. Fear no more the heat of the sun, nor the furious winter's rages. Thou thy worldly task hast done, home art gone, and taken thy wages. Golden lads and girls all must, as chimney sweepers come to dust. Fear no more the frown of the great, thou art fast their tyrant stroke. Care no more to clothe and eat, to thee the reed is as the oak. The sceptre, learning, physic, must all follow this and come to dust. Fear no more the lightning flash, nor all dreaded thunderstone. Fear not slander, censure rash. Thou hast finished joy and moan. All lovers sing, all lovers must consign to thee and come to dust. No exorciser harm thee, nor no witchcraft charm thee. Ghost unlaid forbear thee, nothing ill come near thee. Quiet consummation have, and renowned by the grave. So the poem speaks about one should not be afraid of death. That's what Donne wrote in his famous poem, Death Be Not Proud. And we also read in Emily Dickinson's poem, Because I could not wait for death, because I don't fear death. Let death come on its own. Similarly, Shakespeare in the 16th century itself, he comes out with this kind of an idea and wonderful discussion on death, why we should not fear death. Fear no more the heat of the sun. Death is also called the eternal rest. The eternal rest, Chiranidre, Chirashanti, eternal peace, because you have done all work throughout your life, a lot of action, lot of suffering. Action is suffering, suffering is action. So a lot of action. Now death closes all, death seizes all. Fear no more the heat of the sun. We talk about the heat of the sun. Heat of the sun means it is also considered as lot of heat we receive in our lives. That's what sweat and blood we burn to live, to make name. What Shakespeare in other poem made in Seven Ages of Man. As a child, as a schoolboy, as a lover, as a soldier, you have done as a wise man. So now you are old. You have done your duty. Fear no more the heat of the sun, nor the furious winter's rages. All the seasons affect only when you are living. When you are in spring season, you are all happy. When it is winter, you wither yourself. In life's journey, we come across joys, sorrows, good times, bad times, winters, heat of the sun, summers. Though thy worldly task has done, you have done your worldly task. This task, whatever, as a son, father, grandfather, this, that, or whatever role is given to you, you have completed your task. You have completed your work. Home art gone and taken thy wages. For whatever work you have done, you are paid for it or you are rewarded for it. That's what we say. Whatever good things we have done, good things come back to you. Whatever bad things you have done, bad things come back to you. So obviously, if you have worked honestly, you are paid for that. Paid in the sense, in form of satisfaction, in the form of rewards, in form of love, whatever. So you have completed your task. Why do you worry? You are not the one who is going to die. Golden lads and all girls all must, golden lads, lads, royal people, rich people, lads and girls, both boys and girls, all must as chimney sweepers. So the richest people, at the same time, the poorest people, like chimney sweepers, who are considered as the lowest in the society, all have to come to dust. All have to come to dust. All will become one day when they die and we bury them and they become dust. That's what T.S. Eliot says. I will show you death in handful of, dust. In handful of dust, I will show you thousands of death. Millions have been cut down in the tall, lovely legacy of the wood. So in Davis's poem, we come to know that it means that golden girls and chimney sweepers all must come to dust. So it is death is a great leveler, as Shirley writes. Great leveler. It levels everybody. King said, fear no more the frown of the great. Thou art past the tyrant's stroke. Don't worry about the rulers, tyrant rulers. Don't worry about the paying of taxes. Don't worry about the fear of dictators. Don't worry about the kings. Sometimes they are tyrants. When you are living, everyone troubles. Of course, naturally, during the lifetime, we suffer a lot because of the conditions around us. So care no more to clothe and eat. To thee the reed is as the oak. Care no more. There is no problem of buying clothes. There is no problem of, eating food. You don't starve. You don't be hungry. You don't be thirsty. You don't be shivering because you are now dead. You don't require anything. These are the basic facilities: food, shelter, and clothing. Food, shelter, and clothing is necessary when you are living. When you are dead, nothing is necessary because to thee the reed is as the oak. No problem. The scepter, learning, physics must all follow this. The power, sometimes knowledge you are learning. We study a lot. We read this, we read that. Everything is closed by death. Physics, sometimes we develop good physics. We build a body. We want to look handsome, smart, beautiful, this, that. Must all follow this, and everything is buried, and you will come to dust. Don't worry. Why? Why do you fear about death? Fear no more the lightning flash, nor all the dreaded thunderstorms. Lightning flash. Shakespeare is also speaking about we get some kind of lightning flash in life, thunderstorms. Our life is sometimes like a shipwrecked fellow. Sometimes we are surrounded by, wind, lightning, this, that, ups and downs happen in your life. So now you don't worry about that. That is, your work is done. Fear not slander, censure, rash, people's criticism. People don't worry about the criticism of the people. When you are living, you always say, so satedu nadadare sokkembuvaraya, bagi nadadare dugembuvaraya. So what the way, if you stand tall, people say that you are very egoistic. When you stand in a drooping way, people say that you are weak. People always comment, thou hast finished joy and mourn. You have finished all the joys and sorrows. You have completed the journey. That's what. A lot of action, lot of suffering. All lovers young and all lovers must. All lovers must consign to thee and come to death. So nobody, death spares no one. That's just if death has to come, it will come. It doesn't look into the age, into the your economical background, your political background. No, if it is time, it will take you. That will take you, whatever may be your background. No exorciser harm thee, nor no witchcraft charm thee. So, witchcraft, exorcisers, all these things might have troubled you in your life. And we always fear those exorcisers, fear those witchcrafts because we want to live happily. Ghost, don't worry about the ghost also, because now you will become a ghost. You are dead. Nothing ill come near thee. No problems come to you. It's only death closes all the suffering, and you will be, of course, laid to rest. Laid to rest. That's what we use the word. He is laid to rest, laid to peace. Because the moment there is blood and life in the body, the pleasure, pain, all these things, friend, foe, variety of things, prejudices, this, that, only bother you when you are alive. But when you are dead, no one is your enemy. No problems affect you. No. Nobody comes and asks, quiet consummation have, and renown be thy grave. So don't worry, life will provide you. You have completed your journey. And don't worry about the name also. Don't worry about the pleasures and pains. And don't fear death. We have that. Men fear death, their children fear darkness. So it's quite common that people always begin to, shiver when it is time to die. But a philosophic understanding is necessary. We celebrate birth. At the same time, if we know the inevitability of death, we should also celebrate death. That's what we find in, Vachanakara saying, Sharanarige Maraname Mahanavami. There is some meaning that you should accept birth and death in an equal measure. You should not just celebrate only birth and death is also, people are born to die, no problem. But when we are living, we all need to do some good things. Only the good things remain. So this is a death poem, of course, a kind of a dirge. In this poem, the poet has expressed this feeling for the rest of the soul of the dead. It is written for the consolation of the dead. So the whole poem wonderfully discusses the inevitability of death and one's own, reaction to death. So with this, we close today's discussion and thank you very much for listening.